Hey, we're back. And so is the block, crank, head, and rods for trucks' old 235. Now, we showed you some of the machining steps earlier, and anytime you get something back from the machine shop, you want to make sure to double check all the measurements like I'm doing with this crankshaft. Now, believe it or not, all the 235 main journals were different sizes from the factory. For example, the back journal measures 2.745, and the front journal is a lot smaller than that. Look at the difference. Now, our block was cast back in 1954, and you can't get bearings without tangs anymore for 54 and older 235s. So here's what we're going to do to make them fit. Be sure to remove the complete bearing tang. If you don't, it can take up real estate in the saddle, and when you tighten the mains down, you can lock the crank in place. Make sure to clean the bearing saddle and the back side of the bearing to remove any of that filing debris. Now for today's workout, lifting this overweight crankshaft and dropping it in. We're using these 9,500 shims to get the caps and bearings perfectly round in relationship to the crank journals. Plus, they'll help provide the bearing clearance we want for proper oiling. Now with the main cap cinched down, we can torque them to 100 foot-pounds. With a magnetic base and dial indicator mounted to the block, we can check the thrust, which should be between 3 and 9 thousandths. We're right at 9, which is fine. This plate bolts to the front of the block and houses the timing cover and lets the oil pan bolt to the bottom of it. But most importantly, it has this groove in the back that feeds oil to this squirter, which oils the timing set. And that oil comes from the front cam journal. This plate also gives proper clearance to our new hydraulic flat tappet camshaft. Now it's got more lift than the one that came out, and we got it from a company called Chevs of the 40s. They were also the source for the timing set, which has a steel crank gear, but has an aluminum cam gear.
The stuff you learn when you tear down an old engine. Who'd have thought that over 55 years ago they were using a lightweight fiber material for the camshaft's timing gear? The idea was to reduce noise, but were they tough? Well, this one broke when we tried to pull it off the cam. The mainstream use of aluminum in production engines back then was still in its infancy. The old pistons had to be replaced with new ones that are 80 over. And using floating pins, we've hung them on the original rods and caps that were cut and resized at the machine shop. By the way, the compression ratio of the 235 is about 7 to 1.
Here's our new hydraulic flat tappet lifter that we got from Chevs of the 40s to match our new camshaft. And here's the stock solid flat tappets we pulled out of the engine. Now these things are actually hollow and a little goofy looking, but make sure you keep them when you pull them out because they make great chest pieces. Now also notice how the new lifter is a little bit shorter. To accommodate that, we got a longer push rod.